So the reason you couldn't hear anything is I wasn't online yet, Ronan. So I'm here now. I hope you can all hear me. It's wonderful to have you all here again. It's wonderful to be with you all. Yeah, I was just talking with eh, Fayez, who was asking me about something. If when something does it, yeah, it makes it really good. But yeah, P, having you here definitely is the cherry on top. It really does it. Okay, so we're going to continue with this article we were doing the other day. Okay, hi Count Beauty, great to have you with us. This was about sarcasm and teenagers being really snarky and rather difficult and being very sarcastic. Yeah, so I think this article itself is about sarcasm. Yeah, so here I can hear the clock chiming. It's time for us to start and get down to business. So, well, I've just got up there the one we had last time. I think I'm going to go straight into it. So, yes, very definitely. Ha. Okay. So, good evening, Chile. Great to have you. And let me read this. We're often. Ah, no, it hasn't actually come through yet. It will do in a second. Good evening, Oksana. Wonderful to have you. It really is lovely. Anne Noland. Huh. So, Lake Taps, Washington. I guess that's Washington State. Yeah? So, the far northwest of the US. Huh. It has done it. It's done the tick. Yeah, I like that. That's really good, Vitaly. That sounds great. So, we're often reminded, after all, of Oscar Wilde's jibe, insult, catcall, scorn, that sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, while forgetting that the famous twister of words immediately qualified his statement by adding, but the highest form of intelligence. So, good evening, Slipknot. Thank you, Ronan, for your kind words. Good evening, Maria Lazard. Good evening, Roland, as well. And it's good to have you, Noland. Okay, so we're going to get. We've already got one answer. Let's wait for a few more before I get into this. So we've now got two. Good evening, AZ. Woof. Northanger Abbey and Jane Austen. Huh. I did read the first chapter of that, I do believe. Good evening, Laurie. So, let's go. And Vitaly's gone for jibe, and so has Count, and so has Julia. Good evening, nom de plume. And jibe for P, vibe for Maria, hive for Ronan. A hive of bees. It's with a J and a B, Ronan. And jibe for Roland. That's better. Jibe for Ronan. That's great. Jibe for Oksana. Good evening, Doris. Great to have you. Dora, great to have you. And good evening, Manu. Okay, so Laurie goes for jibe. Aaron, good evening. Hattie, good evening. Hattie goes for jibe as well. Good evening, Sabina. Okay, it's great to have you. And good evening, the MC7, the MC. Okay, so we've got various answers, and it looks like it's going to be a landslide. It was a typo. Yes, typos happen to me all the time, Ronan. But you've all seen that. Okay, so let's see. Catcall. What's a catcall? A catcall is when somebody is performing and then people start shouting insults or things like that while they're performing. And nom de plume goes for jibe as well. So a jibe, an insulting remark. Slipknot goes for jibe. Good evening, Manisco. Great to have you. So it's not catcalls. Or when people are whistling or shouting loudly because they don't like it. Here's scorn. Well, scorn is just a feeling. Yeah? Okay, difference between a jibe and an insult. I love it. An insult is rude. A jibe is joking. I think a jibe is a sarcastic insult, but a jibe's not very. It's not really insulting. Yeah. A jibe is normally it's humorous. It's um, particularly sarcastic, whereas an insult is much more direct. A jibe is like a little insulting joke. Yeah, catcalls are nightmares for performers. I quite agree. Okay, so very definitely a jibe. Yeah, a jibe. It's where you um where you comment on something, but you don't say it directly. You make some sort of little joke. Huh. Jibe means a taunt or a jeering remark. Huh. Scornful equals ill will. Yes, you think something is ridiculous is when you treat it with scorn. Huh. Okay. Yes, so you've got the idea, Fayez. Scornful, hostile, catcall victim, a victim of catcalls. Okay, so you all did very well with that one. It seems that that was very easy for you. So shows how smart you all are. Okay, so yeah, Oscar Wilde is very famous for his jibes. It's n- insulting something indirectly, joking about it, but there's definitely some truth in what they say as well. Parents or teachers of teenagers in particular might find it hard to believe that this linguistic kink, quirk, anomaly, fluke, hallmark is a sign of a flexible and inventive mind. Sarcasm shouldn't be used with friends and only when you're mad. Okay, I think you're probably right, P. Parents or teenagers, parents or teachers of teenagers in particular, may find it hard to believe that this linguistic kink, quirk, anomaly, fluke, hallmark is a sign of a flexible and inventive mind. An anomaly is something that is not normal. Yeah, it's related to abnormal. So if you've got 5 or 6 points in a row on a graph and then you've got one that's here, maybe it's an anomaly. It's something anonymous. So good evening, Shukri. Shukri. Sounds like Shukri. So let's see. We've got Quirk for Vitali, for Maria, for Ronan, for Julia. Count goes for Hallmark. Menisco goes for Hallmark. Yo, Leffy. So read the question properly. And Oksana goes for quirk. Banty goes for anomaly. Good evening, Banty. Chili goes for quirk. I'm looking for this has. It has strawberries on top. Yeah. Okay, Slipknot goes for Hallmark, Hattie goes for Quirk, Patricia for Quirk as well. So we've got another landslide, and Sabina for Quirk. We use I with were. Okay, Oksana, you were happy with the result of yesterday's football game. It's funny for Oksana, I don't like football. And actually, to tell you the truth, I don't like football, but the team I like least of all teams is Real Madrid, because they're so big-headed. They believe they're the most important people in the world. So, good evening, Johnson. If I were a prime minister. Laurie goes for Quirk, Johnson for Quirk. Thank you. Okay, so, and Malak goes for Hallmark. This linguistic hallmark. A hallmark is a sign that something is genuine. Yeah? Okay, clear explanations of the hallmark of a good teacher. It's not a hallmark. Yeah? Let's see. I think sarcasm would be a hallmark of Oscar Wilde. Yeah? He speaks the truth. So, it's not hallmark. What is a fluke? Great to see you, Malak. What's a fluke? Yeah? And while we're at that, what's a kink as well? An anomaly is something that is normal. Yeah, they are haughty, snobbish, they think they rule the world. I dislike the attitude and nothing more. But that's not related to football. Okay, so an anomaly is something that you don't expect, yeah? It's something that is outside the normal. Huh. Okay, so what's a fluke? A lucky event. That's really good, left right. A fluke is something that happens by luck. Yeah. So I threw the ball, and by complete fluke it went into the basket. Fluke, accident, a lucky accident. Thank you, Vitali. Uncertainty is the hallmark of our modern epoch. I think uncertainty is the hallmark of human beings. Okay, a kink. A kink is where something is not straight. Yeah, it's bent. So it kinks. Yeah, and this is the idea of a kink. Something that's kinked is not straight. Hair, kink. Well, kinky. Yeah, you could have kinks. So this is kinky. This is a sexual deviation, but it's deviated from the straight, from the normal, and that's why kinky, something naughty. So the answer, a quirk, a special characteristic. Yeah. So I don't know. One of the quirks of kink in the pipe. Yeah, that's very good. One of the quirks of an iPhone is it only has one button. Yeah, that's a special quirk about it. So a quirk is like a special, unusual characteristic. Okay, so kink in the wire, kink in the pipe, very definitely. A stitch may kink. Yes, it doesn't go straight, it goes in the wrong place. A kinky, an oddity. Yeah, a linguistic clerk, I love it. Kink, corrugated, that's a great word, Hattie, I love that as well. Okay, so to iron out the kinks from a system, to make everything flat. A quirk, not a perk. So, kulirma. A quirk is a special characteristic. A perk is something extra. A sexual anomaly, that's very good, a kink. A jibe. Can a jibe be a maxim or an axiom? No. It's normally a type of insult. Does quirky have something dark about it? Quirky art. It means strange and unusual. Oksana, so yeah, quirky art. It's something that only very special or strange people will like. He's a pretty quirky guy. He's got a lot of strange, special characteristics. Okay, so I better start reading because we've got lots of answers. Yet that is exactly what psychologists and neuroscientists have been arguing. They found that sarcasm requires the brain to jump through numerous circles, hoops, halos, loops, disks to arrive at a correct interpretation, requiring more brain power than literal statements. So let's see, we've got hoops for Vitali, loops for Count, Valentine goes for hoops, Julia for loops, Maria for hoops, Dora for loops. Yeah, quirk is something peculiar, good. And Hadi, like pinching, jibe is like pinching with words, I love it, to pinch. Ow, ow, that hurts, and that's the idea. So, Chili for loops and Laurie for loops. Surreal, kinky art, yes, quirky art. Sabina goes for loops, Leffy for hoops, Oksana for hoops. There may be hidden axioms in jibes, yes, there may be. Very definitely P. Ronan goes for hoops, Roland for loops. Ronan says definitely hoops, Slipknot for hoops, Ginty, good evening Ginty, great to have you for hoops, and Patricia for hoops as well. So this one is very clear. So a halo is this little circular thing over somebody's head, over a saint's head. Yeah. So yes, I never had a halo. Jump through hoops is an idiom. That's a good question, Leffy. Where's Manji? Spaghetti hoops. I love it. Okay, Johnson goes for hoops. So, hoops would hit the nail on the head. Yeah, hoops would do it, Om. Absolutely. Hoops. A selection of answers makes me go, oops. Okay, to jump through hoops, to fulfill requirements. So, the application process makes you jump through various hoops. It's like a performing animal that has to jump through hoops of fire. So you've got to be successful in each set. Yeah? Yes, they are circles. A loop. Normally a loop goes like this. Yeah? You make a loop when you tie your shoelaces, for example. And a disc, normally a disc is solid, so you can't jump through a disc. So, what's above my head? My halo, I get it, P. That was a lovely jibe, I love it. Spoof is something that is a copy, a joking copy of something. It's copying something but joking about it, particularly a film. A sun disk, I love it. So to jump through hoops. Good evening, Andu. Okay, so to jump through hoops to fulfill the requirements set down by someone. And the sun has a faint halo around it. And if you watch it when the sun goes down over the sea, you can sometimes see a green flash when that hoop disappears. That halo round it is what causes the green flash. Okay, and although it's often discussed as juvenile sarcasm is actually evidence of maturity, as it takes years for a child's developing brain to fully grip, grasp, hold, lock and master it. It can be quite challenging, says Penny Pexman, a psycholinguist at the University of Calgary. So, Vitali for grasp, and good evening, Alex. The penny drops. It means to understand. I understand. The penny has dropped. Valentine for grasp. Julia Richmond for grasp. Loopholes in the system. A loophole from a castle to fire your arrows through. Count for grasp. Good evening, Pavla for grasp. Oksana for grasp. Sabina for grasp. A halo. Arola. Yes, I love it, Hadi. Maria for grasp. Kulima for grasp, Leffy for grasp, Laurie for grasp, Amin, Ronan and Roland for grasp. This one you definitely know, and P for grasp as well. To grasp means to understand. This is the right answer. Yeah, so to grasp can be the same as to grip, to hold on to something. But, to fully apprehend, yes, apprehend would work here, Oksana. Okay, hi dear. Hi there. Great to have you. To grasp, to understand, to get a grasp, as Dora says. Do you grasp my meaning? To hold or to lock. Vortices. Yeah, okay. So, yes, he's got a good grasp of the subject. You could say he's got a good grip of it, but grasp is much more common. But to apprehend can also mean to understand. I apprehend what Oksana has said here. Apprehend most commonly to arrest, but to apprehend. I apprehend what you mean. So, Haida, grasp means to hold, to get hold of something. Yeah. Okay, so Oksana's under arrest by Leffy. No, you can say to apprehend as well. I apprehend what you mean. Hadi says grasp. And good evening, Jean. So the mental effort pays off. Sarcasm allows us to add much needed nuance to our interactions. softening the hits, blows, punches, slams of our insults, or adding a playful tease to a compliment. Yeah. I don't always grasp easily whatever you teach me. Okay, so Vitali goes for blows, Count Beauty for slams, Valentine for slams, a firm grasp, absolutely. Kulima for blows, Maria for blows, Leffy for blows, Sabina for blows, Grip seems smaller than grasp. Grip, yes. Well, it's more physical. Apprehends archaic. It sounds pretty formal. Okay, blows for Amin, slams for Peter, blows for Oksana, Johnson for slams. Gand says hi teacher. So the mental effort pays off. Sarcasm allows us to add much needed nuance to our interactions, softening the hits, blows, punches, slams of our insults, or adding a playful tease to a compliment. So we've got blows for Patricia, blows for Roland, slams for Ronan, Slipknot for blows, and Hadi goes for blows, and Gan for blue from blows. Okay, let's see, the hits. A hit. A blow is a much better word than a hit. The punches of our insults. I would probably say the punch, singular, and that might do because it talks about the impact. The slams. To slam a door. A body slam. No, the answer is definitely blows. Yeah, a blow. A playful tease. Yeah, this is what the JIBE is talking about, Jean. I don't have physical classes. I don't give physical classes anymore. It's about 8 to 10 years since I gave a physical class. Thank you, Lord. Okay, Malak goes for punches. Okay, so yes, to soften the blow. Also, to soften the blow is a very common collocation. Yeah? If you don't pull your punches, you don't soften the blow. So, to pull your punches, maybe. I'd like playful tease to a compliment. I like playful tease for a compliment. To slam, to criticize. Yes. Okay, but here, slams. If you want to sound like Rees-Mogg, then apprehend is right up your alley. I apprehend exactly what you mean, Vitali. Blow meaning hit, exactly. It blows your mind, a blow. Okay, there is even some evidence that it can make us ready, us to be more creative, and then it can help us to vent, to outlet, to emit, to exit, to belch negative emotions when we're feeling down. In hindsight, Ronan agrees. Don't backpedal from your statement. Which preposition is more apt? I like that backpedal. So let's see, we've got vent for Vitali, Gand, Valentine, Count, Oksana, Sabina, Ronan, Maria Lazar goes for belch, Sophie Chan for vent. Vent, to blow air through a conditioner. To vent, to ventilate. Julia for vent. Gan for vent air. To cushion a blow. Yes, to soften a blow, to cushion a blow. That's very good, Patricia. Roland for vent. Pavla for vent. Gand, vent emotions. That's a good collocation. Shukri for vent. Amin, to vent out. To vent. You don't need the out on. Catharsis. Yeah. Patricia for vent. Hadi, to vent pent-up feelings. Absolutely, Hadi. Dora for vent as well. So, to belch is to let gas out of your stomach. Yeah? When I drink this Coca-Cola, sometimes I end up belching. Good evening, Claudia. To belch smoke, I love it. Okay, that's a figurative use of to belch. To emit. But to emit means to give off normally. To exit to leave doesn't work. To outlet, well, outlet is the phrasal noun. To let out negative emotions. Malak says vent. Good evening, Jalebi. And Johnson goes for vent as well, and vent is definitely the right answer. Outlet for negative emotions, or to let out negative emotions. That's the idea. So let's try. To belch, to burp, yes. Negative venting might lead to illness. Okay. Do adjectives stem from nouns? It depends on the word. It can go both ways, Slipknot. To vent out. You could use out, but most normally I wouldn't. Vent already has the meaning of out. It's not wrong but I would just say to vent, particularly to emotion. Emotion. So vent for fat. Good evening, Fat Matt. To belch, to spew out. Be careful of that, Haddy, because spew has the idea of to vomit. To spew out, to okay, as in belching out spewing out smoke. That would work, Haddy. Yes, it would. A belching contest. Okay, I better get going. Pexman is so convinced of sarcasm's importance that she has now started designing training programs to help those with an premature, underdeveloped, delicate, obsolete sense of sarcastic irony. Okay, belching out CO2. I like that, Roland. So, underdeveloped for Vitali, for Oksana. Count goes for premature. Leffy for underdeveloped. Valentine for obsolete. Maria for underdeveloped. Emit noxious gases. Yes. Underdeveloped for Sabrina. Delicate, says Sophie. It's vent. Yeah, you're right. Jamunleya. You're correct. It's vent. Vent feelings. Bottle up feelings. These are the opposite. You vent your bottled up feelings. That's it, Malak. Amin says underdeveloped. Leffy and underdeveloped. Laurie for underdeveloped. I'm fine, Jamalaya. And Dora goes for underdeveloped. Roland says premature. To spew insults. That would work, Patricia. Shukri for underdeveloped. Same for Ronan. And good evening, Raphael. Underdeveloped for Ronan. Sorry, for Raphael and for Roland. Underdeveloped for Fat Matt and Slipknot fan. Okay, and for Julia Richmond as well. Okay, let me read it again. Jamunya. That's easier to say, Jamunya. Okay, my vision is what it used to be. Please forgive me, Jamunya. So, Haddy, underdeveloped as well. Okay, thank you, Underdeveloped for Johnson and Patricia. Okay, Jamunya for underprivileged. Jamunya is easier to say as well. Okay, Pexman is so convinced of sarcasm's importance that she has now started designing training programs to help those with an underdeveloped sense of sarcastic irony. Underdeveloped. PED. It means it's not developed properly. Yeah, if it was premature, it's too early. Delicate means it breaks easily, and obsolete, it's out of date. So very definitely underdeveloped for Jamunya and for Francisco as well. Underdeveloped for BMW. Puny, I like that word, puny. I think that's a very good one. So premature birth, not fully developed. Underdeveloped, not fully developed. That's very good. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, yes, so he's got a very underdeveloped sense of sarcasm and irony. Good evening, Dalal. Okay, baby steps. Yeah, let's try it. On the back of Thursday, do in and take in mean to swindle. Meaning to swindle can be used interchangeably. I remember someone taking a self-righteous exception to that. I'm still not very happy with do in as to swindle, Vitali, by the way. I'd much rather take in. Yeah? Because do in for me is much more to kill. Maybe in the US, but for me, do in, they did me in. No, I'm not very happy with it. Okay, baby steps. Undernourished, I quite like that, Patricia. So baby steps. Some clues to sarcasm's complexity come from its long developmental trajectory, orbit, ellipse, walk across childhood. A fact that Pexman has uncovered with the help of some sassy puppets. So, what about this word sassy? So, let's see. Trajectory for Vitali, for Valentine, for Amin, for Maria. Dalal goes for development trajectory. Ronan for trajectory. Yeah, there are lots of words in English that come from Saxon as well. But all the little words like work, do, hit, the one-syllable ones. Count says trajectory. Dalal says trajectory like a rocket. Laurie says trajectory across. Sabina for trajectory. Hadi for trajectory. Walk for shukri. It's walk across childhood. And okay, so I've lost. Okay, yeah, Raphael for trajectory. Slipknot for trajectory. Oksana Johnson for trajectory, and trajectory for Fat Matt, and for Patricia as well. Okay, yes. Sassy, super cool. Sassy means a little bit aggressive, brave, audacious, disrespectful, in your face, breaking convention. So sassy. Yeah. So, Vitali, you can say it as many times as you want, but to me, doing it doesn't sound good. Yeah? So you can say it to 1,000,000 people, but it doesn't sound good. And that's the problem. Yeah? They did me in. Poof. It sounds like, well, let's leave it. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Sophie for trajectory, shoot for trajectory, on for trajectory, sassy, impolite, rude. Yes, that'll do very well, Johnson. BMW for trajectory. Francisco for trajectory, feisty for sassy. I love that. That's very good. Sophie says vulgar. I'm not with that. Okay, shalom, good evening, game changer. So, the trajectory, a trajectory, you could have a career trajectory. There are lots of people from India here, 10 star. Bodacious essay, I love it. Okay, so, J-E-C-T-O-R-Y. Trajectory. An orbit, well, an orbit is round something. An ellipse is just a flattened circle. And it's not a walk, it's a trajectory across childhood, very definitely. A preset trajectory. Ooh, the next one I like. The next one's quite good. I can't unite sassy and puppets from this sentence. So they're using puppets, and the character of the puppet is very sassy. It's rather aggressive, it's disrespectful, it's a bit rude, and that's the idea. Okay, so tracery. Gothic window for churches. Okay, and sassy minxes. I like that very, very much indeed, Hadi. So, and let's see this next one. So you need to decide a, an, and the. A lot of girls gravitating in his orbit. I can do him in for you if he's being too annoying. That's what I would say as well, Leffy. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to let you answer some of these. In typical study, child might watch character named Jane, who is attempting to paint Rose, but it makes horrible mess. You're an awesome painter, the puppet's friend Anne says. Yeah, sassy, having chutzpah. That's a good definition, Vitali. Thank you. Okay, so we're starting to get answers. No problem, Manji. No problem at all. You're normally so punctual, you've had a problem, and that's reasonable. Yeah, I like this. This is very good. So, Oksana says A for all. This is interesting. Maria Lazar goes for A1 to both. 3A, 4A, 5A. Okay, so, don't put yourself in danger. Count. The A. Malik A. So, A, lol, says Julia. Okay, all should be A as far as I know. A typical study. Okay, so let's look at this one, Patricia. It could be, most normally, I would say atypical study. I think atypical study is the best. Carlos, good evening, Carlos. I think you could also say in the typical study, because this is the specific one that is typical. So both A and the are right for the first one, although I think A is more normal. And then a child, introducing child, this is the most normal. You could say the child because you know this is talking about children, and therefore this is common knowledge. Again, both A and the, although A is more common. Children might watch a character. This has got to be because this is introducing Jane, who is attempting to paint a Rose. This is an introduction, but makes a horrible mess, one of the possible. So all of the answers require A. In numbers 1 and 2 you can also use the, but it's less common. I'm sorry for not reading out all your answers, but this one is very difficult. The article is the most intimidating part of the English language. I quite agree. Iwana, great to see you. It's ages since I've seen you. Lovely to have you, Iwana. And the next one is exactly the same. So, in this, number 1, A and the. Number 2, A and the. Number 3, A. 4A. 5A. Yeah. Okay, love to you in Hawaii, Morga. Great, good evening to you, Polyglot, as well. Okay, and or they may see character called Sam is weeding garden and finishes job very quickly. You are awful gardener, says his friend. This is a tall order. This is not easy. Yeah, A for everything. It's the safest answer. Yeah. Okay. Well, Manji's English is pretty damn good as well. So, good evening, TW. Yeah. It's ages since I've seen you. Oh, no problem, Iwan. It's great to have you. So, we're starting to get some answers with this second one. Or they may see character called Sam is weeding garden and finishes job very quickly. You are awful gardener, says his friend Bob. So I'm going to let you provide some more answers because I think these are really, really difficult questions. Is so difficult for you. It must be... No, it's not you, Patricia. It's the fact of your first language. If your first language is Eastern Bloc, linked to Russian, if it's Hindi, if it's Arabic as well. All of these groups of people have terrible problems with articles. If you already have articles in your first native tongue, articles are reasonably easy. But if you don't, they are impossible. Good evening, Morga. So, let me see. Or they may see a character named Sam. We've not seen Sam before, so we need A as an introduction. Only A for the first one. So, 1A. 2 is weeding, in this case, a garden or the garden. A garden, saying one of the possible gardens. The garden, well, you need somewhere to weed, and if you go weeding, you weed in a garden. Therefore, this word weeding has already defined the word garden, and therefore the. So, number 2, both. Number 3, and finishes the specific job, because the job of weeding only, the job very quickly. And then his friend Bob says, you are one of the many possible, awful gardener, says Bob. Wow. Okay, so I know lots of people have problems with it. Weeding is pulling out the plants that you don't want. So maybe you've got a row of lettuces and there are other plants growing in between. Those you pull out because they take the water, they take the nutrients. So weeding is getting rid of the plants that you don't want. Okay, cleaning the garden, cleaning the plants. Yeah, in a way, definitely. Okay, so let's get back to something more normal. I've given you a couple of difficult A, an, and the questions there. A garden or the garden, Murga? So, awful, enticing, enchanting. I've spilled some of this here. Okay, in general, children under 5 are unable to detect sarcasm and tend to take statements really, literally, accurately, definitely. Boof, that's very difficult, Carlos. So, we've got lots of answers already. So, literally for Vitali, the right answer, both. Okay, so Maria Lazar goes for literally, Sabina for definitely. Yep, I agree. Even if you do, it can still be a mess. Count Beauty for literally. Yeah. Woof, the entire paragraph with articles. Okay, Oksana for literary, Leffy for literally, Dora for literally, Roland for literally, Malak, Sherwin, good evening, and literally for Sherwin, Raphael literally, Polyglot for literally, Ronan literally, Julia Richmond for literally, Shukri for literally, Valentine, Laurie, Johnson, TW, Manji, Patricia, Slipknot, BMW, Carlos, for literally. Yes, I've even visited his tomb, which is south of Kanyakumari in India, Koilia. Okay, autistic people do that as well. Okay, Laurie, it's definitely literary. Literally, they're not able to read between the lines. Yeah, but not everyone's visited his tomb. So, Koialia, forgive me. I'm not very good with names, and normally I have to have this quite small to be able to see everyone. So, good evening. I would say that's Vasilev. Good evening. So, in general, children under 5 are unable to detect sarcasm and tend to take statements as they really are. So literally, literally. The literal meaning, they take it as exactly what it says, word by word. That's a good definition, Dora. I love it. Okay, and Hadi goes for literally as well. Accurately. So, not really, definitely. No, they take it literally. So that's, for example, idioms. You can't take idioms literally. Yeah? If you translate something word by word, literally, it doesn't work. Okay, so that one was an absolute landslide for literally. So, Carlos, your question about how to stop translating. It's very difficult. Yeah, you have to just try not to. There are many differences between American English and British English. Yes, Carlos. Yeah. Otherwise, they appear to make sport with our brain, the articles. Yes, they do. Okay, and even after they have started to realize that words, I want to put an S here, it's not going to like it, are started to realize that the words are shading, veiling, curtaining, wrapping some kind of hidden meaning. They may struggle to understand nuances, subtle differences. So, add to dictionary. They may struggle to understand shades of meaning. They may think that someone is simply lying, for instance. Okay, so we've got veiling for count. His ashes are in Kanyakumari. And Maria Lazard for veiling. Raphael goes for wrapping. Laurie for veiling. Sabina for veiling. Polyglot for veiling. Julia Richmond for veiling. Vitali goes for veiling. He was a great person. Yes, Koyalia. Okay. Hard for them to read between the lines. Okay, it's difficult for them to understand the implied meaning that is not actually said in the words. If you read between the lines, you can understand a meaning that is not directly said. Veiling for Valentine, veiling for selling. Oh, veiling, sealing, veiling. That's the word corrector, Ronan. And Shukri goes for shading, metaphorically, not the literal meaning. A meaning that is like a metaphor. It uses the words in a similar way. TW for veiling, Oksana for veiling, Manji for veiling, Peter for shading, Patricia for veiling, Roland for veiling, Sherwin for veiling. Metaphorically means something that is used in a similar way but is not the literal meaning. Metaphor, PH, yes. Yes. Okay, veiling for Johnson, veiling for Koyalia, yes. To veil means to cover the head, very definitely. It's okay, Ronan. And to veil, to camouflage. You're driving. That's brilliant. I love it. Okay, so to veil, to hide something. If one has one's family stand by one's side, one can easily fight society without thee on. No thee on. Okay, so, and even after they've started to realize that the words are hiding. Yes, they're covering, exactly. So, veiling is definitely the right answer. Yeah, this matter is veiled in mystery. To curtain. I wouldn't use to curtain. To wrap. Wrapping some kind of hidden meaning. No, they're veiling. This is a much better word. And shading is producing less light to it. To veil, to obscure, obtruse. That's very good, Patricia. I like that very much indeed. Okay, so. And a new one, yes, so to veil, a veiled insult, a veiled criticism. Yeah, it's not direct, it's got something that covers it. Yeah? Hide anything, to veil. Yes, to hide something, to make it not completely hidden, but not very clear. An understanding of sarcasm's use in humour as a form of flirting, teasing, pestering, irking comes last of all. That develops particularly late, at around 9 or 10 years of age on average, says Pexman. Okay, so definitely we've got answers. And teasing for Vitali, to curtain to a cult, flirting for Count, Valentine for teasing, Oksana for teasing, Raphael for teasing, Laurie for teasing, Manji for teasing, and Julia Richmond. Hide their students. I love it, Leffy. Another Leffy jibe. And teasing for Sabina Taria, teasing for Maria Lassard, teasing for Ronan, for Shukri, for Carlos, for Patricia said a veiled allusion too. That's very good. Yes, I like that. So you need to read between the lines when somebody is making veiled allusions to things. Roland goes for teasing, Sherwin goes for irking, TW for teasing, Patricia for teasing, Johnson for teasing. I think British pronunciation is just more difficult. I think the British, there are more variations. Okay. So Kutlia, good evening, great to have you. Okay, so let's see. Flirting. You flirt with a woman, you flirt with a girl, you flirt with somebody you're sexually interested in. To irk means to make angry, as a form of making somebody angry. I guess you could use sarcasm to irk somebody, but it's much better if you tease them. To tease, teasing. To make jokes, whoops, T-A-S. I-N-G. Yeah, is to make jokes. Peter goes for tease. Good evening, Flower. Great to have you. Flirt with danger. Very definitely. Hear your variant in the videos. That's very good. I love it. Yeah, but he's always got some sort of comment. Oksana. So Emin, hi to you, Emin. And then to pester means to bother somebody continually. Yeah, I mean, to pester somebody with sarcasm, not really. To tease, to make jokes, to make jibes at, and Haddy goes for teasing as well. Okay, so we'll try another one. Yeah, so yes, Leffy is always trying to tease us. Yeah. Well, sarcasm's a good thing. To tease, to pretend to be funny, to try to be funny, to make jokes, but then they're in good faith. In good faith, they're not meant to hurt. Yeah, and that's the idea. We don't want to hurt people's feelings. We just want to tease them. Humour sets the context, light-hearted, exactly, and that's why tease. Very good. Okay, this developmental arc, trajectory, seems to follow the emergence of theory of mind, a child's capacity to understand another's intentions, which tends to become more sophisticated, cultured, chic, snazzy with age. So, we've got Kutia. I keep adding an L, don't I? So sophisticated for Vitali, for Raphael, for Valentine, for Sabina. I'm shocked about his death too, Manji. And sophisticated for Laurie, for Slipknot, for Count, for Oksana. Metaphorically, not not the literal meaning, one that is using it in a similar way, as a simile or a metaphor. So kutia. Okay, that's why I'm getting it, kutia. So, sophisticated for Julia, for Emine. Yeah, I've gone through, 10 years have gone by on. Sophisticated for Maria, sophisticated for Dora, sophisticated for Shukri, for Johnson, for Carlos, for Amin, sophisticated for Patricia, for TW, for Roland. Yeah. Yeah, well, it happens from time to time. Kutia, yes. I keep seeing an L there. I can't see the cross in the T, that's why. And Polyglot says sophisticated, and so does Ronan. Okay, so what's this word snazzy? Yeah, we could do with a definition of snazzy. So, hello, Arisa. Okay, chic means fashionable, cultured. No, sophisticated is the answer. It means more complex. So something could be sophisticated but not cultured. Yeah? We sometimes use this word sophisticated to mean cultured, but here more complicated, a more complicated way of doing it. So what's this word snazzy? So Camille goes for snazzy. Snazzy, cool, smart. I love it. That's a good definition of snazzy, Vitali. Yeah, I like it very much. It's 9:05 here in Spain. Dapper as well. Oxina is snazzy. Very good, Leffy. So, dapper as well. A dapper hat, a snazzy hat. Haddy goes for sophisticated. Snazzy means attractive from flower. Oomphy. I love that word, Patricia. That's very definitely a me word. Assissa. So, snazzy, fashionable, dapper, cool, good looking, stylish, attractive. Good evening, Michael. And attractive says Jollies. Okay, and yeah, Roland snazzy, stylish, attractive. And by a gangster. So, good evening, Mukul. Great to have you. And Looney as well. A snazzy car. Sophisticated was bound with a philosophy. But you could have a sophisticated technique. Yeah? If something is sophisticated, it's not just your plain basic. Yeah? It's much more complex. Yeah? My pronunciation is snazzy. Thank you, Patricia. I love it. Okay, so definitely sophisticated is the answer. Okay. Ostentatious, snazzy. Sort of, in a way, very seeable, fashionable, snazzy. I like that, Johnson. Okay, so yes, this class, the questions I'm asking are quite sophisticated. These are not easy. And other factors may include vocabulary and grammar, the capacity to pick up with, at, by, to, on, the subtle vocal winks, cues, badges, labels that might signal the sarcastic meaning, and an understanding of the context in which sarcasm may or may not be expected. So, yeah, let me read it again. Other factors may include vocabulary and grammar, the capacity to pick up with, at, by, to, on, the subtle vocal winks, cues, badges, labels that might signal the sarcastic meaning, and an understanding of the context in which sarcasm may or may not be used. So Vitali goes for pick up on and cues. Maria Lazard for pick up on and cues. And Julia Richmond, pick up on and cues. Become more savvy with age. Yes, become more sophisticated. That's good, Hadi. And, okay, Artur, great to have you. Pick up on. Count Beauty says pick up with and cues. Valentine for pick up on. Hair, thank you very much, Flower. Pick up on for Artur. Laurie for on and cues. Polyglot for with. Oksana for on and cues. Manji for on and cues. Hair, English is fun. Great to have you with us. Hair. Okay, thank you, Om. Yeah. Okay, so TW for on and cues. And on and cues for Emeen. Yeah. Okay, on and cues for Roland Johnson for on and cues. This is very hard. Yes, you need to know this phrasal verb. Cues is a collocation. Okay, to pick up on something, to notice it. So, for example, if my girlfriend has her hair done and I don't pick up on it, I don't notice it, I don't see it, I don't identify it, then I'm going to be in trouble. Hair. Okay, and Maha goes for with and cues. So to pick up on something, to notice it, to identify it. Yeah. And pick up on the subtle cues. That's the idea. To pick up on something, to notice it, to identify it. Yeah. Okay. And okay, so thank you, Mukul. Thank you for enlightening me. Wow, Alefi, thank you. That's so kind of you. I really appreciate it. We're hurtling towards the end, aren't we? It's been a pleasure to have you. Yes, this is going to be the last one today, Vitali. To pick up on, to comprehend, to notice. Yeah, then she may do me in. Exactly, Patricia. Pick up on and cues. Raphael, pick up on and cues. Okay, a cue is something that tells you that something should come next. It's like, it's not as obvious as a hallmark, but it's something that indicates something that's going to happen. Thanks for coming, Vitali. So, oh wow, thank you, Julia Richmond. That is so kind of you. Thank you, Leffy, as well. So, subtle vocal cues. In the cue in the theatre, if you're an actor, your cue is what happens just before you say your lines, or the words just before you say your lines. Yeah, that's good. So, a wink. Well, a wink is where you shut one eye. A badge. Vocal badges. It's not a badge. You wear a badge. And labels. A label. A label's with something written on it. So, cues. But I think the most important one here is to pick up on, to notice something. A harbinger. I love it. That's a very good one, Patricia. A harbinger's a cue. It's something that says that something's going to happen. Yeah. Okay. And, okay, so, definitely. So, to pick up on. And that is where I'm going to stop today. So, thank you all for coming. Let me put a mark here. And when's the next one going to be? I think it's probably going to be the 5th. The 5th, yes. 5th of June, next month. Okay, a badge of nobility, a harbinger. Yeah, that's better spelling, Vitali, thank you. Yes, don't miss up to to pick up on. Yes, to pick up, to pick up on, to notice something. So thank you all for coming. It's been wonderful to have you. There will be another live stream on Tuesday morning and probably on Thursday late afternoon and next week on Sunday. So thank you for coming, Pavla. Thank you, Emin. Thank you, Lady Pickletta. Oh, that's for the pickle lady. Thank you, Polyglot. Thank you, Vitali. Thank you, Oksana. Thank you for Patricia. Thank you, Leffy. Thank you, Maria Lassard. Thank you, Kaman. Yeah. Okay, and thank you, Manisco. Great to have you, Eric. Great to see you, Roland. It's been a real pleasure. So that's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to have you, Shukri, and live. Great to see you there. Thank you, Sabina, and Emin, and Oksana, and Hadi as well. Okay, and to prompt to cue. That's a good one, Hadi. Yeah, the bees are still alive, Leffy, and it's great to see you. So I'm going to cut off the sound. So thank you, Laurie, as well. So I'll see you all next week. Thank you, Johnson, as well. I didn't mention you. And Sherwin, have a great one yourself. You still probably got quite a lot of day left. And Dora, it's lovely to see you. Okay, so thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you on Tuesday, Thursday, or next week. And thank you to Leffy and Julia Richmond for the donation.